Hello, and welcome back to Emmy Law's YouTube channel, your go-to source for valuable insights on legal matters. I'm your host, founder, and principal lawyer of Emmy Law, and today we're going to be discussing the costs of ignoring small business commercial litigation. First, it is important for you to know that small businesses can face various types of commercial litigation issues. Some of the common issues that small businesses can face include 1. Contract disputes, which are disputes over contracts, such as breach of contracts, interpretation of the terms of the contract, or non-payment of goods and services. It is important that you have a lawyer review all of your contracts before executing them. You're entitled to have the time for a lawyer to review your contract. If you or another party are putting the contract together, it is important that you have a lawyer who's competent in drafting the specific contract you're looking at entering into, help with that process. That way you're protected and that payment terms are clearly stated in the contract. Number 2, it also includes debt collections. Pursuing or defending against claims for unpaid debts, including invoices, loans, or other financial obligations. As a small business owner, it is important that you make sure that you are aware of your obligations. It will cost you a lot of money much later to prove that you do not own any debts and further. It is beneficial that you make it clear in your invoices when money is due and set up interest terms and so forth. If done right, it will be harder for anybody to argue against that. Number 3, this stuff also includes partnership disputes. These are disputes between business partners, whether it's one partner or 50 partners. It's usually disputes regarding ownership, management, or decision-making within the business. These disputes can be narrowed if there is a proper partnership agreement drawn up between the parties. It might cost you more now to set up everything properly, but it will be less should you go through any issues down the line. Some partnership agreements also have clauses in them to deal with if one of the partners dies, how their share is calculated and so forth. So it's important that you have that in place before you start a partnership. That way everyone knows what their roles is and so forth. Is employment disputes. For example, disputes within employees over issues such as wrongful termination, discrimination, or non-payment of wages. If you are just starting your business, it is important that you have an employment lawyer who can draft your employment contracts and review all of your policies. That way you're set up in the beginning properly. And then that employment lawyer can also go through your contracts and your policies every year to make sure that you're kept updated with the changes in the law. The 5th issue that small businesses can face in commercial litigation is intellectual property disputes, right? Disputes can arise over intellectual property rights, such as trademarks, copyrights, or patents. You need to make sure that you have your intellectual property protected and trademarked. It's so important you do that in the beginning. A lot of these smaller technology firms who receive funding via Visa investors for a product they've created, they've always have trademarks associated with the product. So they always have lawyers who are looking at making sure that's set up. The last thing you want is 2 or 3 years down the line that a big company, for example, that has the wealth and the funding available basically takes your idea, right? And your idea is not protected. So to be out there, to be more sellable as a product, even to make sure that you don't face any of these disputes, it's good to invest in that earlier in your business. This also, the 6th issue that, business owners can face is basically commercial real estate disputes, right? These disputes are related to commercial leases, property ownership, or real estate transactions. So that's another issue that a small business can face, and you can look at potentially having to deal with that litigation down the line. The 7th issue that small businesses can face, among the issues I've already stated, Insurance claims, right? Disputes with your insurance companies over coverage, benefits or claims related to your business, losses or damages. It is important that you understand what your insurance does and does not cover. We've heard many times before that there's little things that people are not aware of. For example, flooding, right? There could be a certain extent that your insurance covers flooding and was caused by certain things, but it doesn't cover flooding caused by something else. So it's important that you actually are aware of those clauses and what they cover. Now, this also, the seventh issue or eighth issue, I think I'm on eighth because there's so many of them, is it includes regulatory compliance, right? So you can have disputes with regulatory bodies or government agencies really over your compliance issues. Obtaining permits, obtaining license, expanding, rezoning, so forth and so forth. If you're looking at getting permits and license and are looking to ensure that you're complying with regulations, it is vital that you retain a lawyer that is competent in that area to advise you. Running a business has many intricacies, right? So it has many things, especially depending on how you want your business, what type of business you're in, how you want it to grow. It can be challenging running a small business, and sometimes these legal disputes are unavoidable, right? So obviously you can't protect yourself over everything. I'm a business owner. I thank God, like, I'm not facing any of these things, but there are something that I always turn my mind to because I'm regulated as well, so I have to make sure I'm complying with the regulatory body in terms of how my practice is set up and so forth. So it's very important that you follow those rules, okay? However, if you avoid those if you ignore the small business commercial litigation or any kind of litigation that might come your way, it can lead to significant cost consequences. And I'm going to give you an example, okay, of ignoring such a dispute. Take Mike, for example. Mike, he's an owner of a small retail business. Mike was so busy managing his store, right? He simply overlooked a minor contract issue with one of his suppliers. Now, he thought that it would resolve on his own, and he continued with his business as usual, right? Being a business owner, he's running, he's working, and so forth. However, things took a turn for the worse for Mike. Mike received a notice of legal action from the supplier. The supplier claimed a breach of contract and demanded a significant amount of money in damages. Mike was overwhelmed and didn't know what to do. Mike decided to seek legal advice and met with a lawyer to discuss his options. The lawyer informed him that ignoring the legal action, as every lawyer should inform their clients, could result in default judgment and other judgments made against him, leading to even higher costs to try to fix the judgments made against him. Mike then decided to defend the lawsuit, but the legal process was lengthy and expensive. Mike had to pay legal fees, court costs, and other expenses associated with litigation. The stress and uncertainty also took a toll on his business and his personal life. So that's a very, very small example. Okay. In the end, Mike realized that ignoring the legal issue has cost him more than if he had addressed the issue promptly. Because of everything that happened to Mike, Mike learned the hard way. Legal issue, disputes, so forth, can have serious consequences for a small business. Do not let this be your story. So please, if you are ever facing an issue, contact a lawyer. Navigating these types of disputes can be complex and challenging for small business owners. Seeking legal advice from a qualified lawyer who specializes in commercial litigation or corporate litigation. Seeking legal advice is very important for you. It can help your small business, and it can help you understand your rights and help your business understand the rights of your business. So if you have a business name, if you're a corporation, that's a legal entity, right? So it helps you understand your rights and obligations, and also your legal entity's rights and obligations. and your options for both of you to resolving these disputes effectively. If you are facing with a legal dispute in your small business, seek legal advice and address these issues promptly. At ME Law, we are here to help you navigate the complexities of commercial litigation and corporate litigation and to protect your business interests. Remember, today's information isn't legal advice. If you need personalized guidance, reach out to us at 416-606-5405 or by email at office@melaw.ca. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the subscribe and like button. If you subscribe, you'll be able to see more videos. We appreciate your time and look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, take care.